right. Looks like we are good. Welcome, everyone, to our Fun Friday general session. Emma, you've got a dog with you. I want to see that dog. Make some noise and show me that dog.
Here we go. Willow.
Hey, Willow.
Willow.
Hi, Willow. It's from
Oh,
Willow.
she just
that
wants
is so
to throw
great.
the stick. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Into the wheat field.
Oh, is that what that is? Wheat?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's a happy looking dog right there.
Yeah, she's not been out all day, so she's happy to be out.
Very good. Very good. Well, you know what? We're probably going to be talking about that here today as part of our topic. But thank you, Emma, and welcome, everyone. We are obviously live. John Lavenia here with you, as I always am, on Friday mornings for our Fun Friday general session here inside our mastermind group. So what do we got going on today? We do have, of course, what we're doing right now. We do have our hospitality suite open all day. And we do have at 6 p.m. Eastern US time, I'm going to be back here with everyone for an impromptu, what we call Be Heard, right? So especially for our new members, if maybe you're got some questions, ideas, topics you'd like it to introduce and, you know, have a little dialogue about that, feel free to come on out and, you know, offer me whatever you got. So since it is Friday, we do have dog show and jokes and whatever else people would like to do. I see Sharon's unmuted. Sharon, you got a joke or something for us?
I don't.
Oh, okay. Well, it's good to see you nonetheless.
Thank you.
And of course, on Fun Friday, we wear different stuff. So I'm out of uniform. I got my Palm shirt going on here. You know, I used to have all these. Anybody ever shop at Tommy Bahama? Anyone know what that brand is? I was like a Tommy Bahama aficionado. I had like a whole rack of their stuff. The problem is I'm a biker, and wind and silk don't mix too good. So I'm down to just a few of my, you know, Bahamian or Hawaiian or however we call it, those kind of shirts. Got plenty of Harley t-shirts though. Those seem to hold up. Good stuff. Who's got a joke or an idea that you, or a dog or cat, something you want to bring out here and get us launched with? We got an intimate crowd today. I think a lot of people are at the beach. I do see Edwards here. Hey, oh, Ego, look at that.
There's Simba. Simba, say hello.
What a cutie. Hi, Simba. You're a regular on this show. Good to see you, Simba.
Not me. Don't look at me. I know, right? Okay. Bye-bye. Say bye-bye.
I have a question for you, Ego. How do you keep that dog's hair so white? I would think that any dog with white hair like that would show every last bit of, you know, dirt or dust even. It looks so white. What's your secret?
Well, he doesn't go out for walks, and our backyard is decked, so there's no grass.
Ah, okay.
And then he's indoors most of the time, so
right.
So there's no dirt.
Okay, there you go. Well, that is a great looking dog. Hi, Coral. Yeah. All right, very good. Anybody else got something you want to get us started with here? I see Carl and Edward, and here's Linda. Come on out, Linda. There's Linda.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, there she is.
Yeah, I have a joke.
Oh, thank you.
Have you ever met a man whose touch makes you tremble? Yes.
Touch makes you what? Come again?
Tremble. Tremble.
Can't say that I have.
Well, yes, I have. And who was he? My dentist.
Oh, right. Yeah, I think a lot of people can relate to that. Thank you, Linda. Good stuff. All right. Anybody else? Come on down. All right. So if nobody else has any jokes, we're going to have to like dig into our joke pile because we're getting a little thin on the jokes here lately. And I need laughter. So that's not our topic for today, but I can tell you what, that is therapeutic, as I'm sure many of you would agree. You know, some of us here in this group have been through, well, I would say all of us have been through stuff, right? Some of us have been through life-threatening stuff, like serious stuff. I'm looking at Ego right now, right? She's a cancer survivor. By the way, a few days ago was here in the States anyway. I guess it's the United States thing, National Cancer Survivors Day. I put out a little video on that. My wife is in that group, right? And I know we've got a few people here who have experienced that. Of course, my friend Ego is one of them. And so we've gotten through some stuff. And as a result of that, it doesn't have to be specifically, a life-threatening illness, but we've survived, right? And we've gained perspective. I think a lot of times we have the intent of, and of course we do, of reaching goals and being prosperous and happy and successful. And what do people like to buy? Ease and comfort, and the picture of sitting there with your coconut drink on the beach, and that's all very nice. Okay, that's all very nice. But character is built through adversity. What's the saying? Steel sharpens steel, right? You don't get to remain a malleable piece of iron and at the same time become a mighty sword, right? There's a forging process. There's the flames and the hammering, right? Metaphorically, of course. I'm not telling you to go, hammer your hand to the table or something, but you get the point, right? Is that no one goes through life without a bit of hammering. And how we respond to that is interesting. When we have something more severe, we tend to gain perspective on these other things that seem to be serious problems before. But now, because we've survived more serious things and we've gained perspective, we can put things in their proper place. We can perhaps perceive a lesser magnitude of problems or blocks or stops towards us getting what we want. Okay, so where am I going with this? I want you to consider for a minute how powerful you actually are if you do something that Ego said just before we went live, if you work with what you've got. Now, we all have potential, right? So that we can fulfill or realize. We all have the ability to do something, better, stronger, faster, more profound than we've demonstrated up to this point, right? We all can continue to advance. I don't think any of us have arrived to the point where, you don't have to solve any more problems in your life or something. And wouldn't that be terrible? Oh my goodness. You want to know some of the most miserable people in the world? Here's the trust fund kid who gets everything and is entitled and has no perspective, no character, really, to go out and survive and do stuff. Because you know what? Life is going to happen to them. And the idea of not having problems to solve or purposes to fulfill, my goodness, you want to talk about a miserable life? In fact, that's actually therapeutic. I could tell you that having studied quite a bit of psychology, you can bring people emotionally up, right? You can it's actually therapeutic for people who are depressed and feeling alone and miserable and purposeless and whatever. Give them problems to solve. They feel better. Give me problems. Anyone seen the Sherlock Holmes, the iteration of Sherlock Holmes that starred Robert Downey Jr. and Judd, I think was his name. So Robert Downey Jr. enacted Sherlock Holmes, and he was sitting there. For those of you who could picture this, he's sitting there in his room that he's renting from the woman, and he's trying to make like a silencer for a revolver, and he's just killing his time because he doesn't have any work. And Watson walks in and just starts cleaning up his room, throwing stuff in the garbage. Get up, get yourself dressed. And he's like crawling. Sherlock Holmes is crawling around on the floor. He's like, I need problems. I need work. Give me work. Right. And so isn't that an interesting depiction? If you can picture that, if you saw the movie. By the way, I thought it was spectacular the way they produced that. That was actually the first movie where they used such a high-speed camera that they were able to slow down the motions of like the fight scenes where here comes the punch down to like super slow. It was really amazing film work. Now it's probably commonplace. What was that movie, 10 years ago? But anyway, entertaining nonetheless. But picture that. Have you been, and maybe you haven't been recently. I can think back to when I was a youth and purposeless, by the way, rebellious. Was that saying rebel without a cause? Okay, I would say rebel without purpose, rebelling against everything, life, whatever, miserable, right? And I think we could see this today with a lot of people as well. Of course we can, right? But during those times, I was, of course, unhappy, but also not accomplishing anything. Henry Ford said there was joy in work, and I totally get that, totally, right? Solving problems, overcoming barriers, reaching goals. That's when I'm happiest. I'm happiest when I'm in high integrity action. So what does that mean? Back to what Ego mentioned, just in passing, just before we went live, working with what you got. Right now, that could be right now in the context of let's say the marketplace. I'm sorry, I just dropped my water bottle cap. Okay, I'm back. So that could be in terms of the marketplace, right? So let's say you've been a restaurateur, okay, and let's say that right now you're in a part of planet Earth that has very low statistics on restaurants, perhaps lockdown conditions, people aren't going out, they're staying in, and so that opportunity has seen a decline in your ability to express yourself. Let's say that's while it's an on-purpose thing that you've decided for yourself. Hey, I like to cook and be a restaurateur. By the way, we got some spectacular cooks in this group. We're going to have to get together and like do a cook-off or something. And I'll taste it all. I won't cook anything. I can bake you toast and boil an egg or something. I could put chicken pot pie in the microwave. Actually, my daughter's a better cook than me because she's interested, right? She's interested. But while that's an on-purpose action, it's one that if we're talking about working with what you got, well, right now you don't got the palette, if you will, or the ideal scene to put all that together in the way that you would like to. Okay. Now, some people have adapted. Let's say you're a restaurateur and people aren't doing sit down dining or whatever. I've seen restaurants that have ramped up not only their statistics but their through their new methods of, hey, we're going to do delivery, we're going to do takeout, we're going to do prepackaged, convenience. People love convenience, right? So for somebody like me, right, and I may not be the perfect example, but while I will avoid cooking because I'm not interested, and like if my friend Ivier here, we look at eating as like kind of an inconvenience, but we have to nonetheless because we have bodies and we got to feed those bodies. So can you solve that problem for me? My problem is I don't like to cook. Okay, I'm busy. And great, you could solve that problem. So whether I'm going and sitting down in your restaurant or not, you're providing a service. And not all restaurants did, right? I know this is just, I don't know how many of you are actually involved in restaurants or interested in restaurants, but it's an interesting metaphor, I suppose. Some restaurants just said, oh, we're going to throw in the towel. So not working with what they got or failing to see what they got, failing to see the resources, the opportunities, the ability to shift, adapt, overcome, and all that stuff, like our friend Mark Riggle likes to talk about, right? Actually winning the battle, doing whatever you got to do to win the battle, right? Make some decisions, figure it out, right? How does that relate to us here? Let's say that we got all sorts here, right? Butcher, baker, candlestick maker, we come from all different backgrounds. And yet we've got commonality of purpose, if you're in this group, right? The commonality is having to do with that entrepreneurial spirit and being able to create that better lifestyle by whatever means that probably you weren't doing before, right? I mean, if nothing changes, nothing changes. So we know what we know, but we also know that we don't know. And so we can start looking at other things and applying the resources that we already have. And those resources, I'd say first and foremost, is our ability, not necessarily money, okay, and time. A lot of us have been blessed with more time than we had before. Think about this. Think about, pre-COVID conditions. right? People were, they had their own patterns, whether those were useful patterns or not, right? Whether they were productive habits or how they spent their time, right? They were grooved into a way of doing that. But we've had a tremendous opportunity in the last year and a half to, and this is like the silver lining part of it, okay, to reassess. Yes, to reassess. Hold on a second here. What's my goal again? And what resources do I have? Let me just pause everything here and let me just look and see what resources I have. Oh, I got some more time. Okay, I can put that there since I'm not putting it at the restaurant, right? I could put it there. And I'm going to shift gears to not abandon goals, but to reinforce the goals. A lot of times I have found myself getting attached to methods. I've got these plans, you see, and it's good to have plans. If you fail a plan, you're planning to fail, as the old saying goes. But what the hell do I know? I mean, do I have a crystal ball or something? No. And a lot of times, I'll go back to when I first started becoming successful in entrepreneurship. I was putting my all into a method that was not getting me where I wanted to go. And no matter how much I did, I was barking up the wrong tree, right? Ladder leaning against the wrong building, so to speak, right? Climbing the corporate ladder, you've heard about that, right? Leaning against the wrong building. And so I had to think outside the box, right? I had to start looking at what else could I do with my resources, with what I've already got. Now, what do I already got? All right, let me take inventory here. Let me take inventory. In fact, you can all do this. You can get out a piece of paper and a pen, and you can write down, this is a very good exercise, by the way. You can write down, here's what I'm good at. Here are my unique talents, abilities, or expressions of talents, or combinations of different abilities that is specific to me, right? And I'm sure other people have similar talents and abilities, but no one's got it exactly like I do, or this exact combination, right? And I started looking at that, and I decided that, you know what, maybe I could reach outside of this box. Maybe I could do something different, not necessarily better or worse. It's not a moral judgment. Of course, I've got a lot of evaluations about things. I've got opinions and subjectivity about it all. I tend to add significance to everything, and as we all do, right? What does it all mean? Okay, so I was looking at, what can I do with my talents and abilities? And in my case, I'd become very, very competent, among the best at doing certain things, and you all know that I'm not the best at other things, right? I'm pretty much useless at these other things, right? Cooking, for example. Hey, right, here's your pot pie. Which I didn't make. I just pressed the button and the microwave did it. So what can I do to maximize that? Working with what we've got. Now, all of you are involved in one skill every single day. Let me give you and it's a skill that'll make you so much money. Oh my goodness. If we're just talking about business, right? But this is life we're talking about here. Achieving your goals is part of your life, right? So that's valid too. Okay. But here's the skill. In fact, I'll give it to you in a way that I was given this by a preparedness group that I've done some stuff with, right? And so these are a bunch of people who are into, preparing for, if there's a natural disaster or a man-made disaster or a riot or, shortages, right? So this is preparedness, right? That's the world that we're talking about. And a lot of these people are focused on, of course, we've got protection, right? We've got defensive countermeasures, right? That could be weapons, that could be ammo, right? Things like that. We've got food, right? So we have some storage of food, right? We've got water, right? So you got to have water, right? What else, right? Shelter, right? So if emergency blankets and such, right? First aid, medical, right? Medical kit, get a little bit of training with that. It's nice to have the stuff, but what do I do with the stuff, right? So, that's all part of being prepared. But a lot of people in this group neglected one thing, and that one thing was communications. Let's say the cell towers went down. So here's the question. How often do you eat? A couple times a day? Okay, fine. How often do you use the blanket? Maybe once a night or something. How often do you use your medical kit? Almost never, right? Okay. How often do you use your weapon? You running around waving that thing in the air every day? No. How often do you communicate? All day, every single day, nonstop. What if you couldn't? I want to talk about preparedness, right? What if you couldn't communicate? What if your loved ones are out and you don't know where they are, right? What if we got everybody onto a radio system here? It's communication. That's the skill. And that's the thing that I had focused on for some decades, which allowed me to become exceedingly competent in the area of sales and marketing and all the stuff that has actually made me a lot of money. Now, do we all communicate? Of course, we're doing that right now. I'm talking, you're listening, right? I have an intention of sending you an idea. You have the attention on the idea so you can actually receive it. Then we get into a dialogue. You're sending me your idea. I'm receiving it. I've got attention on you. This is communication. We do it all day, every day. And great news, everyone. It can make you a pile of money when you do it deliberately. When we develop that skill, and whether you're the restaurateur or you're the internet marketing person, the Amazon expert, soon to be, right? The fill in the blank, right? The author, all of it is communication. None of this happens until an idea is communicated. And then someone receives that idea and says, oh, I'd like to participate. Here, have some money. That's a communication. Here you go. Ivier, have some money, right? Give me those benefits that you just communicated to me that could be mine if I just made a decision to participate. Thank you for that communication. Here's some back to you. Here's some currency, right? The currents are flowing in both directions now, right? Here, have some money. Ivier likes hearing that when I say, here you go, Ivier, have some money. That's a nice communication. So what are we doing to develop that skill? If we're working with what we've got, and we know that this is something we're going to do regardless, right, of the method, that communication is involved with all of it. What are we going to do to develop that? I've had people come to me, for sales training, of course, and they're very interested in like scripts. They want a script. I've got this marketing group or sales group, rather, that I work with. Sales and marketing are two different things. But I've got the sales group that I've got all these exhibits and samples and things that people can look at to, if they're new staff members. I put my stuff on Do Not Disturb, people binging me right now. Okay, great. But I've got all these exhibits they can look at to enlighten themselves about, here's the offer, here's how we communicate that to people. And there's one thing I did not put in the asset, in the pile of assets, and that was a script. It's usually the first thing people look for. Where's the script? Where's the script? No script. No script. And there's a joke that goes around, since it's Fun Friday, I'll tell you, what's the one thing that's worse than a salesman with a script? And the answer is a salesman with no script. So do with that what you want. That's kind of like a Zen koan. Like, how do you make sense of that? You just got to sit and meditate on that for like 20 years and see what you come up with. But but the idea that you already have the ability to sell this, you already have the ability. Like once you've enlightened yourself, you can then go enlighten others. And that's my philosophy about it, right? If the whole idea is that we're transferring some idea, some communication, some higher level of knowingness to someone else so they can be more enthusiastic about something they didn't currently know. They lived in ignorance, maybe painful ignorance, but now they're enlightened because they met you. Fantastic. How do you script that? I don't know. I can give you guidelines, right? Here's, a nice working flow. Here's the formula, so to speak. If you, if they, the agenda, right? They've got a certain amount of knowledge, or they've already participated in a certain product. Here's how you can enlighten them on the higher level participation and such. But really, this comes down to a dialogue. Even if, here's the thing, and I know we've covered this before. I know Emma and Neil in our e-commerce work group, and other hosts of that group, Stuart Wild, who I haven't seen in months. I got to give Stuart a call. Of course, Madam Chop Chop, right? Evelyn. They've talked about these sort of things where we're communicating to people via technology, and we're not necessarily in a dialogue, okay? But it's communication nonetheless. And it's going to cause something. It's going to cause something to occur. Something's going to occur. Someone's going to read that communication. They're going to see the pictures. They're going to do whatever they're going to do with it. Maybe buy, maybe not buy, maybe buy everything you got and refer their friends. I don't know. I don't know. But we're going to be deliberate. We're going to be deliberate in that communication because it's in our wheelhouse. It's something that we already have the ability. We're working with what we got, and we can hone that skill, and we can optimize it by looking at how we would emotionally react or respond to that same communication if we were receiving it. My secret weapon, Shannon, who met with you all last night on those of you who are in the brand builder session, she talked about social media basics, but she has the ability to show you methods that would put you into a higher status, as branding is the whole point of it, right? Is that you stand head and shoulders above your would-be competitors, right? Is that you make yourself known in the marketplace, you make brand known in the marketplace. But one of the things that she's really, really good at, and which you can all deliberately be good at, should you choose, is recognizing the emotional state of what she calls the ideal customer avatar. If you could put yourself in the position of the customer, okay? So here's their problem, okay? Which you've already solved that problem for yourself, which is why you can now be the expert, the authority, the purveyor of solutions, right? So you've got something that you can offer this person. Like really dig in. What is the emotional state of that person? Is it frustration? Is it fear? Is it anger? Is it boredom? Is it really? These are emotive words. These are words that describe emotional states. Not so much a demographic, right? Oh, it's Bob, and he's a white married man of 42 years of age. That's nice, and we can invent, that avatar, okay. But more important than the demographic is the psychographic, right? What magazines is Bob reading, right? What solutions have not worked for him up to this point, right? What are his hopes, his fears, right? What does he want? My goodness, if you can get the answer to that question, sales, you can do it in your sleep. Nothing to it. What do you want? Sadly, a lot of people don't know. There was this book written by Dr. David Hawkins some years ago called Power versus Force, where he talked about the hidden determinants of human behavior. He asked somebody, why did you buy that? Or why did you make the decision that you made? And they'll give you an answer. And it's probably not accurate, right? It's their, we could say, social veneer, or here's the answer you should get, whether they should give you, okay? But what really makes the determination is, like in the book that we're reading right now in our book study group, which is Psycho-Cybernetics, Maxwell Maltz. It's the self-image. It's the innermost beliefs about themselves, which again is what? Emotional, right? It's not just an objective thing, right? Hi, I'm Bob, and I am a machine, and these are the decisions that this machine is programmed to make, right? Bob is quite often unaware of those decisions, but beneath that level of conscious awareness is Bob's innermost beliefs about himself and how he feels about himself. And then he will run that program, whether he knows it or likes it or not, right? Of course, we can know more about that. And that's why I've been studying for 30 something years, right? To try and figure out how this thing works or fails to work. So can we get in communication deliberately with people and raise them up? Here's the punchline to all this. Can we elevate people's emotional state just by having met you? This, of course, goes back to 1910, Wallace Wattles, Science Getting Rich, the impression of increase. You got to be conscious of this stuff, right? When I confront Sharon, right? Hi, Sharon, I'm John, right? There's an impression that's made right there, okay? And wherever she's at emotionally, can I help her just get a little bit a little bit higher on that scale, if you will, right? That she feels like, oh, well, this guy, John, he's okay, right? So can you do that? Of course you can, but you can't do it when you're introverted and when you're just looking at what you don't have, what you lack, right? We got to be able to work with what we've got, right? As Ego said, we've got to look at what are our resources, what are our strengths. And yes, they are quite sufficient. We are good enough. I don't need to introvert on this. Let me extrovert. Let me look at you. What can I do for you? Fantastic. Completely different experience. And then again, that communication is received totally differently, and you can assist people in coming up, right? And having that impression of increase. This is so powerful. And if you get into the habit of doing this, and I know some of you are, right? Some of you are like sales machines, right? And it's not just about financial transactions, okay? But it's about inducing cooperation on the part of other humans, right? That you have to share this planet with, whether you like it or not, right? So can you do that habitually? Yeah, you can, but you got to get out of your own head with it. You got to be able to just be there comfortably and confront, here is my ideal audience or prospect or customer or son, daughter, spouse, grandmother, right? Here they are, okay? And not read your own autobiography into it, but get focused on them. What can I do for them? Was it Zig Ziglar who said, you help enough other people get what they want, you'll automatically get what you want. Does that hold water? What do you guys think? Sounds good to me. If money is reward for service rendered, well, yeah, sign me up for that, right? And we're talking about the transfer of value. We're talking about perceived and intrinsic, both, okay? They both cause an impression of increase. They both are valuable to the point where people would want to exchange with you. Value, intrinsic and perceived. What we're talking about is raising the perception of that deliberately, and we do that through communication. This is huge topic, but I know it's a skill that we all have, whether we are conscious of it or not. We do it all day, every day. It's the reason that I got into ham radio, right? Because in the preparedness group, hey, we communicate more than we, use our medical kits or wave our weapons around, which we never do, by the way. So let's communicate, right? Think about that. You're involved in that skill every single day. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. I hope I didn't get too deep on a fun Friday, but this is where my brain was going. Just one look at Ego and all that is what came up. Just one look at Ego and you just got a half hour worth of content. That's all I got to do is see Ego and boom, here's your content. I love you, Ego. You're awesome. Who wants to talk? Come on out and we can share a couple ideas. Communicate with me, damn it. Let's do it. You just took some in. Let's put some out now. Who wants to talk?
I'll make mine really short.
Come on, Ego.
Thanks, John. Yeah, always spot on, or I would say relevant at the time. So I like the idea of. So when we think about communication, right, we always, in some cases, one is fearful or doubts the delivery of the message.
Uh-oh, Ego's breaking up. Uh-oh. Can you guys hear me? Are we still live?
For months.
Yeah. Okay. Ego, I'm sorry. We're having an internet issue, which is very strange because usually it's solid. I got you back. I got you now. Okay. Oh, no, I don't. Oh boy.
You can hear me, right?
It's real bad. Yeah. Maybe try killing your internet and then restarting it. Like, yeah, something like that. And we'll come back to Ego here in just a minute. Poof, she's gone. All right. Who else wants to come out and share while Ego is doing whatever technical stuff she needs to do? Edward. Hello,
yes,
Edward.
sir. Yes, sir. How are you?
Good.
Well, as usual, you've put a whole nother realm on something that's so common in commonality. basically what you're talking about is the sales process, how we always are selling and we're always closing and we don't even realize it. But I think about this song that I heard in a cartoon, The Princess and the Frog, called Dig a Little Deeper. And that's what you did just a minute ago. You dug big time deeper into what it is that we do every day. I just got through doing it. I just closed 2 sales a minute ago, and it was all about what they wanted. It was all about exactly what they wanted, and I communicated in a way that made them want to move forward. And it was a knowingness, because one of the things that I've had to nurture is that, look, I've got it. You need it. Get it. And the deal is when they realize that I've got it and they need it and they get it, it's just digging a little bit deeper to let them see why. I mean, it's amazing. Taking deliberate action is exactly what this whole maturation process that we're going through is going to get us to. Because what I've learned just in communication with this group and with you is that we are ideal. We are exactly what it is that we've always been trying to be. But we are in our own head so bad. Because, I mean, just, thinking about vibrations and thinking about, who we are and how different people, react to us according to how we vibrate. That's communication right there. And, we can't fathom it if we don't pay attention to it. It's amazing how you can change your whole world by changing your thoughts, by changing what you say, by changing who you say it to. I mean, it's amazing because, see, most people can't even vibrate where we are right now. When you go talk to most people, they're not here at all. And and they're in their own head so bad that what you have to do is realize that, look, pat them on the back and say, you'll be okay. And come on, let me show you something better, because this life we're living is going by, whether we like it or not. And what we got to do is we got to grasp every minute, every second, every opportunity. And I'm excited to be, able to get that knowingness, like you talk about, on a higher, deeper level. And I'm gonna tell you, even when I'm not here, I listen and look at everything on recording. This group, this mastermind is priceless, and I praise God for you. Thank you.
Wow. Edward, 2 sales just in the last 15 minutes or something. Well done. Look at that, everyone. Transformation right there. And here's the interesting thing, right? It's Edward that is growing, right? The opportunity that he sells, right? The product, nothing's changed there. It's the same data, the same facts, right? Who's doing it? Oh, Edward. This Edward's doing it. Oh, man. Bless you, brother. That is awesome. Congratulations. Just the beginning. What's the best time to make a sale? Right after you made a sale. Go make another one. Do we have Ego back? And then we've got Linda and Nicola with their hands up. Let's see if we can hear from Ego, if that's workable. No, she was on. She was off. Wow. Something going on with the English internet there. Okay, we'll see if we can get her back in a little bit. Let's go to Linda Landry. Hey, Linda.
Hi, guys. Well, John, what came up for me is perception. When we change our perception of what's going to happen and how the conversation is going to go from a negative to a positive, we're raising our vibration, and it's just, I mean, last night, the meeting that took place, for me, it was like my perceptions completely changed, because the business that I'm in has changed so many people's lives. And if we don't share this, then, that's just, there's just so much opportunity for these people that need it. And if we're
Mm-hmm.
not sharing it, then how are they going to know?
It's like moral obligation. It's like, now that you know, how
Right.
dare you withhold from others?
Exactly.
Oh, wow. That's a powerful position to sell from. Right
Yes.
there. Yeah.
Yeah. So my perception has changed. Yeah.
Fantastic. Look at this. More transformation. Sign me up, damn it. Who's next? I love you, Linda. You're awesome. Good time. I like your, is that a, well, I guess it's a pendant, right? Yeah. I was going to say brooch, but no, brooch is something you wear. Like, yeah. Okay. Cool. Very nice. Very stylish.
Thanks.
What do you think of all this, Nicola?
Similar to Edward, I love listening to Edward talk. We're on the same wavelength. But I think in those, what's kind of come to mind for me, in those type of conversations, we tend to put our attention and focus on ourselves. And if you think of the type of thoughts that would be going through your head, it's, what do I need to say? Make sure I remember to say that. How am I going to come across? Am I going to be able to, if it's selling, am I going to be able to sell or convince the person that I need to? So you're just really stuck in your own head with your own wants and your own needs and your own anxieties. But actually, if we place our attention on the other person, who generally wants to be understood, they want to be listened to, they want to know that we've got empathy for what they need or want, and we already know that we can help them in most cases. If you just think of the type of thoughts going through your head in that sense, it's very different. Does that make sense? So by taking the attention off ourselves and putting it directly on the other person, when we have those type of conversations, it's just a much more easier flowing conversation, and we're kind of in a state of giving rather than needing to receive. Does that make sense? Can you kind of feel the difference? I've just got the two conversations going on in my head, and I can just feel the difference in your energy state and in the state of your mind. So I think if we can go into those types of discussions with more awareness on where we're placing our attention and our thoughts, it'll just make for a much easier conversation.
That's beautiful. So, Nicola, you just described the difference between being introverted and extroverted. So everyone here who drives a car, which is probably everyone, when you're in your car driving, are you introverted like inside the machine? Like, oh, where's the steering wheel? How hard should I press the pedal? Let me make sure I'm looking at the windshield, right? And the headliner, right? And like you're all introverted inside the machine, or are you extroverted? Are you looking at everything else outside of that machine? You damn well better be, right? So you know your controls. You don't even have to look at your controls. Outside is where the attention goes, right? Now you can't do that if you don't know how to drive, right? At first, right? You're sitting there in the parking lot and you're discovering steering wheel. Oh, steering wheel. Oh, I see, right? And you touch the levers and everything, and you play with the pedals, right? And but you're not moving. Hopefully, you're not. You're not actually driving yet, all right? And then once you're good, I'm good with the machine. Yeah, I know the machine, right? Now you're competent. And now you can put your attention outside. That's where it needs to be. Beautiful stuff. Thank you, my friend. Nicola is awesome. Ali, and then anybody else wants to come out? I think Ego self-destructed. I don't know where she is. So maybe we'll get her back. Maybe we won't. Ali, and then Lindsay. Hey, Ali.
Hi. Hello. So when was it? Earlier this week, I was saying how I felt uncomfortable selling. And I have been looking for something. I think it's so dependent on what you're selling. So all through this year of mindset discoveries that I've been doing, and mindset over money and all of that, and I've been really drawn to thinking, why didn't I know this when I was younger? And so wanting to do something for young people about this kind of stuff. And I found this course, which is just brilliant, and it's designed for 7 to 17-year-olds. And I could talk about it forever, because it's what our children need, and it's what parents, I mean, we're all so worried about money, or a lot of people are worried about money, that it's so crucial. So yes, what you sell and giving something that you know is crucial for other people is just absolutely, and it's for me, it's changed everything, because it's not about selling, it's just because I know that this is really valuable stuff.
Right.
So
Right.
it's very exciting.
Yeah. It's kind of like that moral obligation now that you know, and it's your intent to let others know, and so they can experience those same benefits. That's it. You got it. That's sales.
Yeah, and when you know how it affects you, and you know how important it is, then it's so easy then to say it, because you know what benefits it's going to give the other person. So everything that you've been saying, absolutely perfect. And I would, there I was saying I hate selling, but I would talk about this all the time. Because it doesn't feel like selling, because you know how important it is.
Right. Doesn't feel forced. Right.
Doesn't feel forced, absolutely.
Yeah. Back to the idea of power versus force, right? It feels powerful. You're flowing with it. It's an easy flowing experience. It's not a forced experience. And by the way, that's possible also, even if you're not a buyer of that particular product or that particular solution. However, you recognize what it does for other people who are right for that product, right? So can you still sell it? Of course you can. Of course you can. Yeah. Good stuff. Thank you, Allie. You're awesome. Allie. All right. So who else we got? We got Lindsay. Hey, Lindsay.
Hello. We all know that communication is something I work daily on. So this topic was spot on. And I agree with Allie. If you have something that you just believe in, you can't help but find yourself talking about it, then it just makes it so much easier to communicate that and be excited about it, and try not to be overexcited about it. But yeah, that came up for me, because communication has not been, in small groups I can get out and talk, okay, but I gotta get outside of my head. So I do, and it makes sense, and it always has. It's just nice to hear it. So.
Good. Well, you can observe what's actually occurring, right? And the quality of that communication. You can observe it, kind of objectively, right? Oh, I said that, they said that, or I'm looking now at this, I don't know, advertisement or something. How does that make me feel? Do I want to buy that? Am I interested, intrigued, disinterested, repulsed?
Right.
I don't know, right? Let's look, right? It's all communication. Yeah. Thank you, my friend. Glad you're here. Guess who's going to speak next? Can everyone guess? It is my friend, Coral Taylor. Hi, Coral. How are you? So good to see you. Let's get you out here.
Hi, John. Hi, everybody. John, I loved your joke about the salesman without a script. It reminded me of the, what's the sound of one hand clapping?
Yeah, right.
Silence.
Yeah, one of those unsolvable riddles,
Yeah, exactly. And I also want to tell you my joke that it was a bit slow in putting my hand up, but Linda sort of sparked this one off with her dentist joke. What does a dentist call his x-rays? He calls them toothpicks.
Oh, toothpicks, right. Yeah, I got it. Very good.
But, going back to this subject about communicating, we're receiving and we're sending and processing messages, even when we're not speaking, just by looking at everybody, all my friends here on screen. Sometimes, the face that we portray tells us a lot about the mood that we're in. And we're sending messages all the time. And I have been accused of being in a bad mood. And I've said, oh, sorry, no, this is my bitch face. So you know, it's being aware of just the way our face is looking can communicate maybe the wrong message sometimes. So yeah, I found communication, not just in speaking, but in other ways, is you know, quite important, because it builds up great relationships. I have better control when people, you know, if you have a poker face, people don't really know what's going on underneath. It's like the iceberg, you know, or the dog that their feet are flapping really frantically underneath the water. But on the top, we look calm, and we look collected, and it gives people a lot more confidence in us. So yeah, communication is really important. Thanks. That's me done.
Awesome. Thank you, Coral. And Coral brings up a great point. What percentage of communication is the words? Some psychologists say around 7%. So there's that. What's the rest? Physiology, body language, voice inflections, intent, right? It all really comes down to emotional intent. That's how it occurs to me anyway. So great stuff. Thank you, Coral. Who else? Anybody else want to speak before we wrap up for today? I don't see any other hands. I hope you all got something usable out of this, right? Something you can observe in your own life and maybe take some inventory and just be a little bit more deliberate about, you know, how you're interacting with the rest of the planet, right? And impression of increase. That's it. Just remember that impression of increase. What can you do? Because you're good, you're solid. Okay, what can you do to help them be good? What can you do to help them be uplifted in some way, whoever them is? Consider that. We'll go ahead and wrap up. I'm going to be back here with you all at 6 p.m. Eastern U.S. time for Be Heard. So you can communicate with me, right? So that goes two ways, right? So I'm going to go ahead and listen. You're going to talk. And any ideas, questions, whatever you've got, please feel free to bring them. Also, I will let you know, just before we wrap up here, and I know we got an intimate crowd here today, but I will let you know, because we've got a couple of regional actual live get-togethers that are going to be going on the calendar here. I know in our Facebook group, there's some talk of England, right? So I may not be able to attend that one this time, but I will let you know that we are looking now at, as I mentioned to those who were in this meeting, it was a couple of weeks ago, Las Vegas, Nevada, in late October. So those of you who are interested in coming out to the desert Southwest in autumn, here in the Northern Hemisphere, that would be autumn, temperatures just below 100 degrees, still pretty warm. We're going to be doing some stuff, and I want to discuss what stuff that is. John Apogee, I don't know if John Apogee is here with us right now. I don't see him here, but he and I are going to meet on this, and we're going to figure out some fun activities that we can do in late October. All right, because I'm going to be there. I've got an event that I'm hosting there. I figured let's make something happen. Let's put something together. Maybe a Grand Canyon trip, maybe a trip to the shooting range. Something's going to happen, and it's going to be fun. So keep that in mind. Late October. All right, my friends. We'll wrap up with that. I will see you all again real soon. Make it an awesome day. You totally deserve it. And I'll be back here at 6 o'clock Eastern.